think she's all right. All right, let's go to Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn. Another match that I didn't call. I called the win, but it didn't go exactly how I think it should have gone. Um, it wasn't as decisive as it should have been. I think Braun should have definitely. I called that he should have squashed Sami Zayn, and it should have just been him spearing the fuck out of him. 1, 2, 3, 30-second match kind of thing. And they kind of did a quick version of a match. They didn't do as long of a match as they usually do with Braun Breaker. So they got closer to what they should be doing with him. But I just felt like the match itself should have been a lot more explosive, a lot more intense. I thought Braun should have been way more dominant. And there was points in the match that I noticed that the crowd was a little bit dead, and I don't think that was the crowd's fault. I think that they were going with the working a slow, methodical pace, and I just don't feel like they should have done that with this match specifically, because also they did that with other matches throughout the night. So they kind of tried to do a little bit of like Sammy was kind of panicking, which they did well, but I felt like Sammy just got a little too much offense. It could be a nitpick, but I also didn't need the, Braun selling his shoulder thing. I don't think that was really necessary. Again, another thing, just kind of like, give him a weakness through the match, but inevitably it makes him weak in general because of his character, what his character should be. But they made the right decision. Braun Breaker wins. He wins the Intercontinental Championship. That crowd lost their mind for it. Again, I felt like that crowd wanted to be hyped throughout this whole match. I don't feel like that's the match they wanted to see. It wasn't the match I wanted to see, so I could be projecting onto them. But I felt like that crowd was a little dead in the sort of somewhere in the middle range. They kind of were like, come on, do something so we could fucking lose our mind. We want to lose our mind here. And they finally gave him the win, and they really did. They popped for Braun Breaker. I heard the barking. I heard the audience barking, and there must have been a lot of them, because to hear the barking so audible in an arena, in a stadium, they must have been pretty loud. But yeah, they must have been pretty loud for his win, because that was pretty audible as well. Now, I've been making this prediction with Braun Breaker lately, and I kind of got the feeling, I know I'm maybe reading way too deep into something, but I noticed they said when he won that they said something along the lines of welcome to the Braun Breaker era, or the Braun Breaker era begins, that kind of thing. And for some reason, I know they say that with other people, other wrestlers. They said that with Cody when he won, but I don't know why. I was getting the feeling of Austin when he won the title. And I know you're out there going, oh, Austin, Attitude Era again. Listen, just hear me out on this one. When Austin won the title the first time at that WrestleMania, they, the quintessential line that everybody remembers is JR screaming, the Austin era has begun. And I noticed throughout the night, they were doing a lot of this little subtle Attitude Era nostalgia. So that's why I think it's fair for me to bring this up. But I've been making this call that I think Braun Breaker works best when he's playing off of Adam Pearce and being sort of a anti-establishment kind of character, anti-boss kind of character. I think Braun Breaker connects with the audience more when he's doing that. And when he's going at Adam Pearce, I tend to find that the crowd pops for him more and connects with him more. Because I don't feel like the crowd likes Adam Pearce really. And I just get that feeling that maybe are they doing that? Was that a subtle kind of nod to the Austin era has begun, and that's where that was the McMahon Austin era. And that's where it began. I don't know if that's where it began because it began a little bit before that, but I guess it could technically say it began with Mike Tyson, but my point is this kind of where they're going to go with Bron Breakker? That's where I for some reason I just had that feeling. So Bron Breakker, maybe my prediction is that he goes into some kind of program with or more focused towards Adam Pearce. But yeah, like I said, I think it's a fair call because again, they were doing a lot of Attitude Era nostalgia. If you noticed, and I'll go right into the next match, they did that with the Drew and Punk Seth match. Seth being the special guest referee. They were doing a lot of comparisons to the SummerSlam match. They even did a tribute to it in the match of Brett versus Undertaker and Shawn Michaels being the guest referee. They did the chair spot from that match in the Punk versus Drew match. So there was a lot of subtle Attitude Era nostalgia kind of things that they were doing